This segment sponsored by Advanced Center for Pain and Rehab.
Welcome back to Marketplace. You know, as we approach these colder months, it's really important that we know how to keep our body agile to prevent all different types of injuries. So we spoke with Dr. Blake French of Advanced Center for Pain and Rehab, and he breaks it down further for us. Dr. Blake French is here from Advanced Center for Pain and Rehab today to discuss the benefits of squatting with us. So Dr. French, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
First off, what does the research suggest when it comes to squatting?
So squatting in general, great activity, incredible, especially for those who are older. As we find, you know, if the older population, we become more sedentary, we might be retired, we're not doing as much activity as we normally used to do. But as we become more sedentary, what happens? Muscle loss happens as well. So a great benefit of squatting is to help with stability, just help build strength in the lower extremities. So that way, I mean, help prevent falls, just overall improve our normal activity day to day, especially, like I said, in the older population.
And Dr. French, for the more senior population that we have here in Central Illinois, what is the difference between lifting with weights versus body weight? Would you recommend our older population to be squatting with the bar with weights, or would you just recommend just their body weight?
So I love saying I always say is get really good at the simple things.
Okay.
So if you are even struggling, say you're someone who you're watching this, you haven't even, don't even remember the last time you squatted, or you haven't squatted in a long time. No, I would not recommend you going under a bar, putting a bunch of weight on there. You should get really good at just body weight squats. Even if you struggle with that, use a countertop, use assistance, go from sitting to standing in a chair, you know, a chair squat, something like that. But in general, it's all about building up, once again, building up your tolerance. Letting your body have enough time to, you know, take on the load, recoup, you know, recover, and then build up from there. But in general, there was a recent study I looked at that said, you know, if you're 50 years or older, you should be able to do 40 body weight squats.
Oh.
Just in a row, 40 in a row. If you're 60, 30. If you're 70, okay. 20. So kind of use that as, you know, your own tracker, but in general, you don't have to try and shoot for that the first day. You don't have to keep, but what I might say is use what we call like movement snacks. So think about like snack time as a kid, middle morning, afternoon, later in the afternoon before dinner time, something like that, and just take time to work on these things. I mean, if you go per hour, say, let's each hour, if I did 5 squats, the beginning of each hour, I mean, how long does that take?
Yeah.
You know, a minute or two if I'm really dragging it out. And then if you think 10 hours in a day, you just did 50 squats in one day. Now, you'll probably feel it the next day.
You will
but
be
in
feeling
general,
it.
but in general, you don't have to do a lot in a short amount of time. Just take the time that you need, and you know, just work on things steadily.
Well, Dr. French, thank you so much for sharing some of these helpful tips. And I didn't know how beneficial squats can actually be.
Yeah, they're great.
I just thought it was just to build some muscle in the behind. You know, I didn't know
it helps with that too.
the real impact that it has behind it. So thank you so much. And I will link everything on newschannel20.com. Visit advancedcenterforpain.com. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to watch more segments from Marketplace on News Channel 20.